takeoff and landing the Harrier. So what we're going to do is we're just going to take this in test flight. I'm going to show you how I use it and how you can use it for both normal takeoffs and landings, and also STOVL takeoffs and landings. So without further ado, let's put this in a test flight. Take out the AV8C. They're practically identical. So without further ado, we're just going to do realistic. That's where most of our guys fly in the 512. You can do this in sim. It's a little more difficult. And I'm going to try to stay out of the cockpit just to make it easier to see. But we'll bounce around a little bit. We're going to start off, it looks like we're on the carrier. So whenever you're going to carrier, make sure that you have your throttles and everything back. I have a keybind set for the cockpit where you can close that. To take off on a carrier, it's really simple. While you're sitting there, all you have to do is punch the throttle forward. So we're going to do that. The computer takes off on its own. Lost a wing gear there. And the RWR found something of interest. But we are already here, so we're going to start extending the air brake, because when we get to 250, because that's really short distance, landing gear comes out at 250. I've already put out the brakes. We're going to put out the flaps to 10. And really, you can go one step further. Normally, in just a normal landing like this, you don't have to use the thrust vector. I have that set up on my HOTAS, so it's pretty easy for me to use. But I'll start to add in a little bit. You see the thrust vector coming up. And so then we just throttle up to just watch that descent rate and then flare a little bit. And it's back. So let's try that again with the gear fully useful. There we go. So even I make mistakes. So here's the problem. When you see yourself getting slow like that, start pumping the thrust vectors just a little bit, and then you usually lower the speed too. So now when you roll out, add a little bit of power. Just try not to crash it again. Too much power there. And then it just lands like a normal plane. Now we're gonna taxi. Then we're gonna take off going to the left here. We don't need much runway for it. But here's a demonstration of a normal takeoff. This plane's really overpowered as far as engine power compared to some planes. So, sorry, I'm dealing with COVID. But we're going to put the flaps to take off, and we're just going to see what happens. We're going to roll back. And you'll see without any anything else, it gets the speed up to 180, and I didn't even pull the stick to get that to take off on its own. And that's just a normal takeoff. Now to do a normal landing, we're actually going to pull some distance and try this from an actual approach like what you would see in the game. Notice how quickly the speed builds up here too. So now we're going to make a base leg. We're going to slow down, hit the air brakes.
Enemy sighted.
When you get to 250, drop the gear. 230, I drop the flaps. landing flaps. And again, you gotta come in a little slower than that on final. It's all about managing the sink rate, to be honest. But to show what the Harrier can do, we can prop it right back up. But next thing I want to try is we're going to do vertical takeoff and landing, I believe, on the carrier. I think it's going to put me back there. No, it put me here. So, for what I normally do, my normal takeoff is going to be setting this thrust vector down to 60 degrees. I'm going to go ahead and close the canopy. You'll see how much faster it takes off. You don't really even need takeoff flaps, but we'll throw them on anyway just to really make this thing scoot up. We're just going to full throttle, a little bit of back pressure, and yeah, that took almost 0 time. Now,
Anybody see anything?
when you come out of that, you've got to like slowly roll the thrust vector back in. But we're gonna make this approach on the carrier, so I'm gonna keep a little bit of speed here. My head tracking didn't want to work. There we go. Still doesn't.
There's the target.
So I really don't do anything special like use hovering. I know you can. I just play with it. Like I said, right now I'm modulating the throttle, the stick, and when in doubt, add power. But it's kind of like a helicopter. You can pretty much get it to dance.
Number 3, what do you have? Can't see anything, sir. The coast is clear.
I'm gonna put it in dampening mode for the carrier. So now the carrier's moving forward. It looks like he's actually starting to turn, which is always fun. But I don't think that's going to be a problem. So yeah, all it takes is some practice. You'll figure it out. But again, the main controls are being able to change that thrust vector very easily. I have a keybind and the hat switch on my HOTAS. throttle, and the stick. You're good to go. If you have any questions, let me know. Again, Fireball, Texas. Have a great day.